Well, it's because the word selfish has such a negative connotation behind it, right? And that's the thing. It's like you always teach your kids to share, don't be selfish. Like and there's never a point where you start teaching the nuance of it. It's never a point that you stop saying, "Hey, share with everybody," or you got to be nice to everybody, and start swinging it to, "All right, yeah, you got to be selfish." Like you said, you got to protect your time. You got to protect yourself first. Put yourself first.
What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I am Tavares Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferg. Join my co-hosts, Razi and Buff. Fellas, tell them what's on your minds.
I am wallowing in the Sha'carri Richardson jokes right now. I mean, I've been laughing for a straight hour just looking at all the comments on Twitter. Baby girl got dusted. I mean, I could have got out there and did that. But I still rock with her. I hope she comes back. All that good stuff.
She asked for that ass whooping too.
She's only 21. A lot of people talking about her post-race interview as well. I don't know about that. I didn't care for it, but I also don't mind it at the same time. I like, I was a Terrell Owens fan. I like outspoken athletes, Adrian Broner. But man, she got dusted, dog. But like I said, I hope she comes back. I'm still rooting for her. I'm pulling for her. But today, she got to catch these jokes. She got to catch all of them, dog. Sorry. And I see people already out there with the think pieces defending her. And she's only 21 and she's been out for a month and you couldn't do it. No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. but I'm going to laugh at somebody that thought they could.
Because she obviously. Yeah, it was bad.
She came in 7th, right? So she did beat 2 people.
No, she came in 9th, bro.
Oh, dang.
Dead last. She was one of them black people. I'm right around the corner last. Like she was that late. That's how late she was, dog.
Follow folks to say she's smoking weed and can run. Obviously not.
Hey, I'm still with you, Sha'carri. I believe in you. You got a long career ahead of you, so just do it.
She said that too.
That Nike commercial didn't help either. It didn't help. You can't play that Nike commercial after that. If you need me, I'll be at the finish line waiting. No, you won't.
Breathing hard, trying to catch up.
They caught off guard. It's the weed. The reflexes are slow, bro.
Came out of the black slip.
The fast switch muscles ain't what they used to be.
Oh man, but that's what's on my mind, bro. What you got, Raz?
Man, I got something, but before, Byron, where did you get that shirt from? That is a nice polo.
We at Three Brothers No Sense. You can visit NoSense.com. We now have polos available in all sizes. Is it from small to extra large?
Yeah. I think we got a 2X on there too.
Yeah. So everything from the petite to the husky, we got you. Different colors or whatnot. And it's Razi mentioned it on a past episode. It's good quality too, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it. So other than that, man, I don't know if y'all have seen the He-Man remake yet, but
yeah, how did you feel about that?
It was for what are you doing? Like
I'm trying to figure out why my computer's not charging. So I'm under my desk trying to figure it out.
All we see is like this part of your head.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. So.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
This is video now. This is
video on camera, sir. Yeah.
It is what it is. Poor Shea get a kick out of this one.
Yeah, man. But I enjoyed the He-Man remake. A lot of people were worried about like that it wasn't really centered around He-Man or whatever. Spoilers for anybody who's just really don't want to hear about it. But it's more focused on Teela and her journey. So it's kind of cool but it's called Masters of the Universe. It's not called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And Teela is a Master of the Universe, so it's fine that it's centered around her and not He-Man. So, but I think it was a really good take on the mythos. It used the characters well. The artwork on it is beautiful. It's really done well on that. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Colors in there now.
Yeah, they put some colors in there. A couple black people that as main characters or even, I guess supporting characters.
Even what's the first He-Man.
Yeah, He-Man's black now. So because he got a black granddaddy.
He-Man.
Yeah.
He-Man is black now.
Yeah,
all it takes is a drop, right?
Yeah, drop of black blood. That's it. So He-Man's black now. So that was smart of them to kind of throw that in there and add that flavor and that multiculturalism into it, where the first iteration of it was all hyper black or hyper masculine males, and that's what they were really going for, and they were hyper masculine white males. So to add in a female element, a black element, like all of that in there, I think it's a good take on it, man. So, and it's a good story. It's a really good storyline.
Yeah, well, it was pretty good. It ends on a doozy. It's a doozy.
Yeah. Oh, I got one more thing. Is Boomerang a drama or is it a romantic comedy?
Rom-com.
Yeah, rom-com.
God damn it! Look, y'all supposed to support me in this, man.
You think it's a drama?
I don't think it's a romantic comedy.
Did you not see the list of comedians in the all the headliners are comedians, Razi?
Yeah, but it's not that funny to me.
Market, bro, what
it has funny moments. It has funny moments, but it's not all that funny to me.
All right, we'll do a poll.
You know what? Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you anymore. I'm just going to leave it up to the audience. I'm just, I'm not going to.
I thought it was a drama with some funny parts.
Okay, you said it's not funny. Where's the drama though? I know there's some breakups in it, but where's the what makes you call it a drama?
I mean, Marcus is trying, he's trying to get the new job and all of that, and the twists and turns with him trying to get that, and there is.
That was so underplayed. I forgot that he didn't get the new job. As soon as Robin Givens brought her fine ass there, that moved on to the next situation. So that was not even a part of it. He didn't work hard for it and nothing. It wasn't kind of him staying up late and
he tried to sleep his way. He tried to sleep his way to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Jason, you win. All right.
It was an argument.
It was a romantic comedy.
But since you bring up Boomerang, to this day I'm mad that no one in the company, no one bothered to tell him that Lady Eloise did not own the company anymore.
That was shady, bro.
Yeah, somebody could have gave him a head. So, hey, dog, she don't run anything around here anymore.
Well, he moved her so fast. Hey, Razi, I see where this is going, bro. I don't want you to put yourself out there. It was just oh, hey, Razi, here's Lady Eloise tomorrow. Razi, Lady Eloise? That's how, I feel how long did it last? It might have been a day or two.
Yeah. Because he didn't even discuss it with his boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? It's kind of on him.
Yeah. It's all on him. All on him. I have no sympathy for him that whole movie.
I have another Eddie Murphy movie question to ask. I'm gonna save it for next week though.
I mean, why wait? We're on it now.
I just okay. So on Harlem Nights, I know everybody loved her character, but her and Eddie Murphy's character, Quick, they got in a fight because he accused her of stealing.
Oh, Vera? You talking about Vera?
Yeah, Vera. Okay. But if the ladies was always coming up short, even when the place was packed, where was the money? Okay. So she said she wasn't stealing. So why were they coming up short if the place was packed?
Well, she don't say nothing to you, Byron, when your shit come up short.
But my shit don't never come up short. You know what I'm saying? The bar and the crap table never came up short, baby.
I'm just saying, you know, you better be, if you're gonna accuse me, be able to back it up. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Like my thing is, what was the going rate? Like if it was $40 and you were servicing somebody for 30, 30 minutes. I mean, you know what I'm saying, in today's dollars, right? So if it was $2, however much it was, if it was $40 and you had maybe 2-3 guys an hour coming through, however much, you know, or they were paying for the hour. So you should be able to do the math and say, all right, what if the girls are busy all night, what should the girls be bringing in? 40 times 8, you know, times 7 girls, whatever it is. I need to see this much money from you. Vera should have been able to do the math.
She was late to the meeting, which means so whoever the last trick was, he paid a little overtime. Okay. And she said she was in charge of the girls. She is in charge of the girls.
So she was in charge of the girls.
She was in charge of the girls.
She was in charge of the girls.
So I'm not accusing the rest of the people. Is that a drama too, Razi? I'm not accusing Vera. I just want to know where was the money at. That's all.
Yeah. What were you saying, Ferg?
So I'm just saying, is that a drama too, Razi? Or no,
that's a comedy. That's a comedy. It was way more comedic moments in that.
Because it was a straight comedy. It wasn't a rom-com.
I don't know what Sophie has, but I'm scared. She just ran in here showing me something and then ran back out.
Okay.
Cotton candy snowman.
Oh, you made a cotton candy snowman? Come here, show everybody.
It's a cotton candy.
She made a cotton candy snowman.
Yeah.
Because she has a cotton candy maker.
Oh, you didn't make me any cotton candy snowman when I was there. Sophie.
She left. She gone.
Okay.
You can tell her when she come back for her joke.
Okay. Well, fellas, it's been a great week for me, it's been a busy week for me, man. I went to my national sales conference in Charlotte, and that was a very interesting week.
What happened? What'd you do?
I decided to part ways with my company.
At the sales meeting.
Yeah, at the sales meeting.
I'm gonna get this free trip out of y'all one last time.
I'd rather been home with my family, man. But I wanted, I got to make sure everything was lined up, and decided to tell my manager at the sales meeting in person. Definitely caught him off guard. That was not a fun conversation. And then I told his manager, and it was just, and people be talking, man. Like I told like 1 or 2 people, and by the end of the meeting, before I even told my manager, the word was out. Like, so I heard you're leaving. Like, dude, we don't even talk. How did you hear? But it's crazy. But it went well. Moving on to greener pastures. Congratulations, Z, on your new gig, and all the kids in Texas starting school Monday. So there's a lot of changes going on in our household, but all for the better. I really want to get Sophie back for this joke because I want to talk to her about my kind of candy that I did not get.
All right,
Sophie.
Hold on. Let me get her.
Hey, Miss Sophie.
Hey, Sophie.
Hi, it's me.
I know it's you. So I just saw a cotton candy snowman.
Yes.
I
made
why didn't I get offered a cotton candy snowman when I
only got one and I ate it.
But why didn't you make one for me when I was there?
I can make you one when next time you come. I didn't think of it while you were here.
That's not a good excuse. It seems like I'm not high on this priority list of things that you think of.
Yeah.
How was school this week?
It was good.
It was good? Okay.
Yes.
You have a good joke for us today?
Yes.
Well, give it to us, Sophie.
What's the difference between being not assertive and being aggressive?
This better not have ASS in it as part of the punchline.
What, Sophie?
Do you guys give up?
Yes.
Boyfriend, it's me. Do you guys give up?
Yes.
Okay. Your gender.
Says your gender?
Yes.
What's wrong, Ferg? What's wrong with it, dog? Oh man.
I asked her, I was like, do you even understand this joke? She was like, yeah, I get it. Oh,
No,
now
no.
you say no. Now you say no. Okay, so assertive is like...
I already know what assertive is and aggressive.
All right, assertive is like a positive trait, and aggressive is a negative trait. But you could be doing the same thing for both of those. And so the only difference really is that depending on the gender, if it's a boy or a girl,
you turned a joke into a whole entire lecture.
I did.
Call them out, Soph. Call them out.
We're using sexist jokes now, Razi?
Huh?
We're using sexist jokes now?
No. I thought it was hilarious because it's like it really is. It's like a satire joke. It's not really a dad joke. Like on the real, it's the only difference of a lot of times with that is the gender, how people take it.
Did y'all see there's a Zelda game that sold for $870,000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was the original one with the.
I'm like, I got Mike Tyson Punch Out at the crib. It's not unsealed, but it works.
Does it have the original dust on it?
Yes.
Did you get to blow it off seal?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Y'all didn't like my joke, though, man. Y'all didn't like my joke.
I want to be nice today, so
that's fine.
Yes. So
hey, your joke on Facebook got some laughs. The little lighter.
Yeah, the little lighter. Yeah. So, look,
who wants to go first?
They're hit and miss.
I don't mind going first,
Let's do it.
Unless Razi want to take it.
No, you got it.
So we didn't get it. We had a lot of fun last week. So, and it really was about the listeners last week. Thank you guys for tuning in and supporting us. We really appreciate that. But what I want to ask this week is, because in rap music, I felt like rap music was the last place that this could really exist. Like homophobia, it's pretty much been, you can't have it, you can't display it like openly in the workplace, anywhere nowadays. But in rap music, it was still kind of allowed. You could still say the F-bomb, you could still say certain things in your lyrics, and it was cool. Until I'm about to get my babies mixed up. It was Da Baby, right?
Da Baby, yeah.
Yeah, until Da Baby went on his weird stage rant or whatever, and he got canceled. I mean, he got canceled for that tour, the rest of the tour. So to me, that shows how much power the LGBTQ people are, and that group, how powerful they are, because I saw women saying, women that agreed with him being canceled saying, but he's still allowed to be misogynistic and things like that. My question to you guys is the LGBTQ, are they the most powerful, I guess, group that we have when it comes to social issues? Because it seems like they get a lot of victories. I know I'm not downplaying any struggles they have, but they do get a lot of things done and accomplished that I think we as Black people sometimes wish we could get accomplished. Are they the most powerful out there right now?
I won't say they're the most powerful. What I'll say is that they are the most vocal and watched group right now. They are making huge strides right now. They're the hot thing to be able to say, oh, I'm supporting them and everything like that. And so that they at this point, they're riding a wave that is going to, at some point, is going to crest and start going back down to where, it'll be kind of more of a, like you talk about the Black people, right? Like the Black community, we had that wave in the 60s, and now it kind of, the attention and the focus went away. right? So since marriage equality, really, they've had this huge wave, and you got to think about what industry that is. Like the LGBTQ community runs music. Like they are powerful behind the scenes of music. And so when you really kind of think through it, it makes sense that if they say we aren't going to support this, and even if it's a 20%, a 25% reduction in ticket sales for somebody, I mean, a label will look at that and be like, we're not going to risk it. I don't think you can get a large enough black block to say we are not going to any more of your concerts or whatever if you have this person on. The last time that happened, I think, was Chrisette Michele. The black community canceled the shit out of Chrisette Michele after she did Trump's inauguration. So it's one of those things that if there's something that is egregious enough to be like, okay, we are going to cancel, we will do the same thing. Black people will do that and stand up. But it's not a whole lot. The LGBTQ community isn't getting like all of these great things. What's happening is they got one huge watershed, like Supreme Court ruling, and everything else really has just been them defending that ruling. If you really think about it, it's like, I'm not talking about the council thing, but like all of the other wins they've been getting have just been, folks going back after it, trying to overturn it or trying to find ways around it. And they've been losing that. But it's not like they're making huge extra strides. It really is just them defending what they already got.
And I called it a weird rant because, I mean, I don't know where that came from.
Like, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like it was super random.
You remember a few episodes ago, we were talking about that, the cancel culture. And that's what I was talking about. When I'm just saying, like, when you just put your shit out there, nobody asks you anything. It's so easy not to say shit. That's when people get canceled. So if there would have been he would have been on a talk show and he would express his opinion. Like you're entitled to your opinion. Now, hopefully you're a little more polished than saying the dumb shit he said. But at the end of the day, it's, dog, you just randomly at a concert, like, who wants hot dogs? Now let me talk about how, like, he went left. Like, it was just out of the blue. And it's kind of like, where did that come from? And, so for me, I don't think they're just, I'm not going to say necessarily the most powerful. I would say their points are direct. Like, if you ask us, if they're like, okay, if the LGBT community came to us today, like, black people, here's the secret sauce. We'll tell us what you want and we got you. Mm-hmm. We'd be like, come again? Hold on, let me go ask Razi. Like, we don't know what we want equality. What does that look like? We don't know necessarily what we want. I know we want equality and equity and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And also
it's the low hanging fruit. Like the simple answers for black community have been solved. Right now, it's the nuanced stuff. We don't have anything that just says, oh, black people can't do this anymore. Now it can be hidden. It can be, and so that's why it's so hard, like Ferg, you're saying, to find what the concerted effort is for black people. The LGBT community is still fighting very poignant, gay people can't do this thing. And so it's very easy for them to hone in on that and say, we want to overturn that. Like, no, we want to be able to be married. No, we want to be able to, you can't tell us you're not going to make our wedding cake because we're gay. Like, so there's very poignant things that they can look at and say, you're discriminating against us.
Yeah. And I think also is because it's blatant discrimination. That's one thing, but also these are our brothers. These are our sisters. They are touching every piece of the puzzle. Like, a racist can have a brother who's gay. So, like, they'll never relate to me, but they know their gay brother and they know that he's a good dude. And so they might stand up for him. So they're touching every piece of the puzzle. They're involved in everybody's lives. And so they're relatable. Like, if you just don't like black people, you just don't like black people.
Yeah, you can go almost your whole life without interacting with one, right? Or them not. Yeah.
And so, and then the social economically, like it's, if you look at Black people as you look at our wealth, we're on the lower end. Like we're not making money like that, as a people. But once again, they're touching every aspect. There's broke gay people, there's rich gay people, or, people in the LGBTQ community. Like they're public officials. Like you said, they're involved in the music industry. They're involved everywhere. And they're making moves. I think they have a better game plan right now. They're more, their focus is better right now. But I think that's going to slow down because now you're getting that same, somebody was talking about, should we have, what did they say? Was it hetero? Did somebody say they should have heterosexual month or something like that?
I did see that on a post.
Like, I'm trying to think, was it that?
Would you support heterosexual Pride Month or something like that?
And so now it's the back, things get bad is when they're trying to negate it and almost like, well, I should be able to do this too. I should be able to say I'm proud as a heterosexual. You do. Like, you don't even have to say you're proud.
Yeah.
It's just part of the norm. So, I think what you about to say?
I was going to say, let me ask you guys this, because I don't know if they're the most powerful. I can't even answer my own question, but they definitely are powerful. But I wonder, are they seemingly more effective because their movement isn't tied to one or two people?
That's what I mean.
Like the Black movement has been for so many years. Like, for so many years, it was Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. So if you were the opposing side, all you had to do was discredit them, and then you would split the Black community in half. Because I'm not following Jesse Jackson. He got out of wedlock kids, or I'm not following Al Sharpton because he's a race hustler. You know what I mean? You discredit them, you help discredit the whole movement. With the gay movement, I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think it's tied to like one or two individuals. It's more like a group thing, to where you have to respect what they want. There's nobody for them to discredit or demonize.
Yeah, I can see that because they don't have like one spokesperson, right? That stands up. Yeah. So, but which one do we want? Because I mean, that's the thing we talked about. For the Black community, we need that, right? Like we talked about how the NAACP isn't that anymore, and how Black Lives Matter is becoming that or whatever. So do we want a spokesperson or somebody who can actually say, here's the Black agenda? Or do we want this amorphous thing where nobody can point to anybody, any one particular person?
I don't even think that. What is supporting? How does supporting the LGBT community hurt you? As a heterosexual Black man, as a heterosexual white man, like it doesn't hurt you in any way. You don't have to worry about losing your job. You don't have to worry about. All the thing is it's a social perception. Now, if I support Black rights and equality, it might pull the Band-Aid off of years of oppression that I have to recognize that I got my position this way. I'm successful because of this. My family built their wealth on the backs of Blacks and slaves and all this stuff. There's more reckoning that comes with acknowledging our struggle than it does their struggle. And I think that, so to me, it's all about, what do I lose by acknowledging somebody else? And so the harder it is, or the more I lose, the harder it is for people to sympathize or admit they're wrong. Even we were talking about taking away from the LGBTQ community, think about just with the women's rights things. Like when you realize that you're getting paid more than the average woman, what if acknowledging those things, acknowledging that we're in a patriarchy, how does it hurt your life?
Well, you know how they'll answer that. Religion.
Yeah,
Like I think Razi mentioned the cake people. They didn't want to do it because it was against their religion.
Yeah. I mean, that's their excuse. But at the end of the day, if they say, you know what, take it out of the cake. I'm just saying, like, financially, could gay rights, equal rights for the LGBT community, how would that financially affect the American public? There's no downside to helping, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we do that with blacks and say, okay, reparations, how do we pay back black? How do we make it right? What do you do to make it right with black people? What do you do to make it right with women? Do we need more women, female CEOs? You know, like there's so many things that have to be done right, and it's gonna unseat the people of power. That it's like, look, if I have to agree with gays, blacks, or women, I feel like a lot of people are going to choose the LGBT community because it's less harm.
So we can. This has been a lot. We can move on to the next question, but I'll just say this: if you're one of those people that Ferg just described, a way to simplify it, just love everybody. Just love everybody. That's all you got to do. Black, gay, white, just love. Unless they do you harm or do you wrong, just accept everybody and love them for who they are. That's it.
I'll make it even easier. You don't have to love everybody. Just respect everybody.
Yeah, well, even better.
Because you know, having people try to get people to love people.
Yeah,
that ain't gonna happen. Just respect them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let them be them. What you got for us, Razi?
I don't know which one I want to go with.
Flip a coin.
I think this was more poignant. I can wait on the other one. So I'm gonna go with the Uncle Joe and this whole Afghanistan thing.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. So unless you wanted to ask it, Ferg, if that was your question.
I knew it was coming now.
Okay. So I want to get you guys' opinions on the withdrawal. Was it the right time? Was it the right answer not to go back in and do that? Because the fallout of Afghanistan. No, I'm gonna say the rest of that because that's part of my answer. So was the withdrawal and the choice of going ahead and withdrawing the right call? Regardless of if it was Trump's or Joe's, was that the right call and why?
I think it was the right call. I personally just don't believe in occupying a country forever. And that's what we seem to do. It's what Bin Laden warned the Saudis when they accepted our help. He warned them, hey, once you let America in, they never leave. So I actually don't believe in just occupying a country. With that said, though, the reason it just seems so bad is that it just doesn't seem like there was a plan in place. And the president has, I've literally seen him answer the same question two completely different ways, to where, yes, we knew it would be this bad, to no, we didn't think it would be this bad. So I just think, have a plan. We've been there 20 years. Okay, so obviously staying 5 more years, 10 more years wasn't going to make a difference. So unless the American policy was, hey, we're in Afghanistan forever, and we just accept that, that's one thing. But if the goal was always to leave at some point, then there was never going to be a right time. It was always going to be the Taliban waiting for us to leave so they can take over. But I just think, when you see people trying to get to the airport and what they're going through, I'm seeing reports that Americans can't even get to the airport, despite what the administration is saying. They can't get to the airport safely without being beat on by the Taliban. So maybe a better plan could have helped execute this. But as far as leaving, unless we were going to stay there forever, yes, it was the right time. It was the right time now. It was the right time 5 years ago. It was the right time 10 years from now. Because whenever we left, obviously, what we've been training those people to do was not getting through, because this happened way too fast. We have no evidence. We have precious little evidence that we've been there 20 years, because it's evolved back to exactly what it was before we got there.
I think it's one of those, and I agree with you, Buff, even especially when you said it was the right time 5 years ago, it was the right time today, it was the right time 10 years from now. It was never going to be a peaceful transition. And the sad thing is, you just have to look at it the way it is. It's like, how long do we want to be there? What is the best thing that can happen from us being there, continuously being there? How many more American soldiers have to lose their lives? How many families have to be separated if we pull out 10 years from now and the same thing was going to happen? The Afghan military was not in a position to take over. The only thing I will say about the pullout is it was not well planned for the Taliban to walk away better equipped than they did before we got there. They got stingers from us. Now they have thousands of weapons, millions of rounds. And for the people over there, I feel my heart goes out to the Afghan people, because that's who's truly going to suffer. Like, I feel like the Afghan people are going to be way worse off than they were 20 years ago. You know, that's the sad thing. I don't know, man. I don't even know if there was a right answer. Razi, give me some political or some military insight. I don't know if I'm missing something, but that long-term occupancy is just, I think we should give ourselves a certain amount of time to stabilize. But once we realize we can't stabilize, we got to get out.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at my. Are those tacos? Those look good. I'll say this: the call to go ahead, it took balls by Trump and Biden to go ahead and say, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off. We're going to leave. And I think it was the right call for what you guys have said, whatever. We've spilt enough blood. We've spent a whole lot of treasure there. And we did know that it was going to be this bad. We knew it was going to come. To kind of go back to what you were saying, Buff, about Biden saying both ways, the military community knew that fight was going to happen. They knew the Taliban was just basically laying in wait. What was not planned was how fast it happened. You know, and I don't think anybody could have really thought that within a week the Taliban would have Afghanistan. You know, that's huge. Not like, I could see them having big swaths. You know, they were really powerful in the South, so it made sense. You know, when we were there, right? Like, rocketing almost every night, like firefights randomly. Like, it was crazy. But my thing is, we can't do it forever. We couldn't. And I feel for every person that's there now trying to get out. All the people that helped us over the last 20 years that's trying to get out. You got to think, our Terps, Ferg, like, we hung out with them hard. Like, we go out to the Terp tent.
That's exactly what I thought of when I saw it or heard it.
Yeah. And so to think that they can't get out right now, and they're suffering because we spent 20 years there, and we did train the military. The military was ready to be able to push the Taliban back. The issue came in where the Taliban knew the culture of Afghanistan way better than America did, and even the ANA did. Like, the Afghan military didn't. They tried to buck the culture because we taught them to buck the culture. We taught them to, you need to form like the American military or like, you know, developed nations militaries or whatever, European militaries, instead of they had a government system before we got there. They had a military system. They had warlords and a way of governing before we got there. And we didn't actually build on top of that. We said, you know what? We're going to give you an American style system. Actually, we gave them a British style system. We gave them parliamentarian system. But we want y'all to be a democracy instead of saying, what do you guys want to do? How do you want to govern yourselves? How do you want to rule yourselves? And we propped up people. And as soon as we left, it wasn't that our military left, because our military technically left like 7 years ago. Like we have turned over security to them, and we were just in a support role. What left when we say we were pulling out is the money. When we stopped paying everybody off, when we stopped pumping all that money into there, that's what everybody knew, that Afghanistan couldn't stand on itself or on its own without the opium trade. And the opium trade was owned by the Taliban. So where were they going to get money? From them. So that's really what it came down to, man. I feel for everybody there. When it first happened, I mean, I thought back to our deployment. I mean, all the dreams and the flashes, you know, it just all started coming back. I mean, seeing the guys dying on the table. Remember the guy that had like no eyes, like all of that just like really started coming back, and that hurt. That hurt that we spent 20 years and we did all of that, and we lost so many people for it not to actually matter. That's really like, it doesn't feel like it mattered because we really didn't accomplish anything.
They said it was going to be another Vietnam.
Yeah, they said that from the start, and it's true. So I don't think I answered anything. I just rambled, but I wanted to really talk through it, man.
You two both served. Can I ask you real quick before we get the first question? Should we have been there in the first place?
I can see both ways, truthfully. I think we should have been, especially if we hadn't gone into Afghanistan, there would have been more tax on the United States. Because, you know, if we didn't take the fight to them where they had to defend themselves, then they could have continued to attack us. And so it's one of those things that you go over there, you take the fight to them, or you let them bring the fight to us, continue. And it's very, very hard to defend against an insurgency. Like with an awesome series, if you want to go back, it's called Sleeper Cell. I think it's Michael Ealy or Ely, I don't know how to say his name, is in there. And it's him going undercover in a sleeper cell where they're trying to do another 9/11 type thing here on the U.S. soil. Great series. If you ever want to go watch something, check that out. But that's the type of thing that we have to defend against if we don't take the fight to them. So I think it was the smart thing to go in. But the issue comes in, you have to have an end state. Like one of the first things when we create an operational plan or we go in for a military campaign is, what is the end state? And if the end state is too amorphous, which is, setting up a new government, that takes forever. That's nation building. You can't do that with the military. We've seen that in Afghanistan. We've seen that in Iraq. We've seen that in Vietnam. Everywhere that we've gone and we've tried to use the military to set up a new government, it doesn't work. So you have to nation build with your Department of State. You can't nation build with your military. So our end state should have been, finding Osama bin Laden, deposing, taking him out of leadership, but then you leave a power vacuum. So I don't know what that end state should have been, but the end state should have been very clearly defined on what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, and when we want to leave, and don't move the goalposts. So I think it was right to go in. It's just staying there 20 years didn't make sense.
Yeah, it definitely was right to go in because we needed to act fast. But it was just, I think it was a no-win situation. Like, what is taking out bin Laden, like Razi said, would have left a leadership vacuum. There was something missing. And I'm trying to go through my mind and think in history, when has occupying a nation and deposing their government ever worked out for the people, really? In modern history, it might work out for the occupying country. And when you look at that, you think about a lot of the quote unquote colonizers. If they going over there, they messing some shit up, they're going over there messing some shit up and staying and making it America, making it America over there. But now we can't turn it over. I don't think that's ever really worked, especially when you're trying to change a group of people who have a certain thought process. And I'm not arguing right, wrong, or indifferent over their thought process or religions or their way of life, but these things, the way they look, the way they live, this stuff is older than time. This is some of the earliest civilization, and we're trying to come up with this new age America shit and say, "Hey, dude, be like us." And they're like, "Dude, you haven't been doing this long enough to tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. You can't." It's almost like it was a religious war in their mind. It was a mindset. You can't fight a mindset. Every time we try to fight a mindset, we're going to lose, point blank. Yep. And that's it. The only wars that I've really seen is when somebody was trying to dominate and take over other lands. That's when we've seen success. The world wars, when we stopped an empire from spreading. But just going in like, hey, your people over there, we don't like what they're doing. Look at all the African countries that we come over there and lost lives in and still losing lives, still going on in Africa, people, just in case you didn't know, all over. They're still fighting to this day. People are still going over their own missions, losing their lives, and nothing's going to change because you're trying to fight a war of the mind. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Even when we were there, the question was, and I'll be honest, a lot of times the question was, why are we here? Mm-hmm. I guess the end result was like, as long as they don't crash more planes into in the U.S., then we're good. But I was thinking about this the other day. I wouldn't be surprised as quick as the Taliban resurface that there won't be a major attack soon to make their impact felt.
I don't know. I doubt they'll come after us anymore. They have the win now. You got to think. They have the win. Like they pushed America out, right? That's their thing. They fought America and won, so they have the W. They don't need to come in and attack us anymore.
Don't re-engage.
Right. But I think this goes back to everybody, those war hawks out there and everything that love to talk about. We need to go to war. We need to put boots on ground. We need to attack the country whenever somebody does something that we don't like. You heard that in Iran when that happened. And, you heard that with South Korea or North Korea. You think folks have talked about we should go in there and everything. The proportional response and why everybody kind of hated Obama when he was doing it is, when they did 9/11 and they hit the trade centers, if we had gone in and bombed every military base in Afghanistan, just bombed the shit out of it and dropped bombs on them and just walked away, like, now try something else again. Y'all need to get y'all people right. Like, I think that would have been a more proportional and probably a bigger statement than us putting folks on the ground for 20 years, pulling out, and then the Taliban resurfacing and having all of our equipment that we left behind and everything else. They're in a better situation now than they were 20 years ago.
So am I remembering wrong? Because, I don't dispute. I will take you guys' answer because you guys were there, you served. But Afghanistan wasn't responsible for 9/11. Those were Saudi attackers, and bin Laden was in Pakistan.
Yeah, but the Taliban was Taliban related. So they tracked it, and bin Laden was in Pakistan after that. Like, he was leading from Pakistan to make sure that, but he was controlling the Taliban in Afghanistan. Like, that was their largest foothold. And the opium that supplied and funded most of their stuff came out of Afghanistan. So that's really what it was. It was like Afghanistan was their base of operations. Yeah, they were Saudi nationals. That was the way that they could actually get here, because Afghanistan was still on kind of a no-fly. It was really hard to get in from Afghanistan type thing. So they couldn't use Afghani nationals for it. But they were Taliban affiliated, even though they were Saudi nationals.
Okay. So that's why they always say follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
So,
shout out to Lester Freeman on The Wire.
Who was that that said they didn't like The Wire on our post?
Oh, I forgot who that. Tiffany Holder. Oh. Tiffany Rolex holder. Yep, she sure did.
Well, call about a whole Facebook government name.
I did. She sure did.
So my post is kind of weird. My question is kind of weird. So I'm gonna ask you guys this, and then I'm gonna kind of go into it's gonna be the root of my question. Do you think there's ever a time in your life where it's just good to be selfish? Because they always say like being selfish is bad. Like, what are the benefits of being like right now? You can be selfish in your kind of marriage, like what it's all about me. And so I was listening to Childish Gambino the other day, and this is what made me think about it. He said, and it's a song called Kids, the only thing I put before me is do re. If you told me,
I get it.
If you had told me the truth, we'd be okay. Because I think a lot of times people are so busy trying to appease other people that they lose themselves. And sometimes just the truth, like, hey, just being truthful. Like, I'm not ready for this. I'm selfish. I'm not there yet. When is it time to be selfish? And what are the benefits of that?
Your time. Be selfish with your time. The Purpose-Driven Life, written by, I think his name is Pastor Rick Warren. He's one of the first people that pointed that out to me when I read his book, that time is like really the only thing you can't get back. If you lose money, you can go out and earn it again. If you lose a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you can find another one. Time you can never, ever, ever get back. So be selfish with your time. If you don't want to go, if you don't feel like doing it, don't. Be selfish with your time. Prioritize. This kind of like goes into the question Nicholas Ramsey asked last week. Prioritize your time, man. I think that is one of the perfect times to be selfish, is when it comes to managing your time. And I think it's perfectly okay to be selfish. Look, you have to, as Ambrosia said, protect your peace bubble. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that requires you being selfish, because when you start trying to please everyone else, then you stress yourself out. Look at Christmas. Look at how stressed out people get around Christmas time now, to where they feel like they have to get something for everybody they know. You know what I mean? And they're stressing themselves out. And I believe that time of year is a high depression rate, as a matter of fact. But be selfish with your time. Make you happy. Make sure that you're happy. It's good to make other people happy, but that can't be your priority, because if you're not happy, then you can never be in a position to bring anybody else joy. Take care of you. Take care of self. Be selfish. I'm all about being selfish, man. Now, when it comes to helping others with, if you have the financial resources to help others, then obviously that's not a time to be selfish. If you can help someone, I think it's great to definitely help somebody out in need. But like I say, I can't hit on this enough. When it comes to your time, be selfish.
I like that. What you got, Razi?
Y'all know what I'm gonna say. Your money. I pictured that that Dave Chappelle. They own your money.
Oh, Lord.
I say that tongue in cheek, but at the same time, like, truthfully, do worry about yourself. Like, when we talk about budgeting and finances and everything, we always talk about paying yourself first or whatever. Being selfish with your money doesn't necessarily mean that you don't give money away or whatever, or you don't help, or you don't give to charities. What it means is make sure you're straight first. Like, so, you have to make sure that retirement's good. I can live. I'm not overextending myself. I know people who had 60, 70, 80, $100,000, and as family came, oh, I need 5,000. Oh, I need 10,000. Can you help me with that? Can you help me with that? And eventually it got down to where they almost had nothing. So like, be selfish to the point where you're straight. And like, to piggyback on what you talked about, Buff, being selfish with your mental state like your emotional happiness, your mental happiness, making sure that you're straight first in everything that's happening. So you have to make sure that whoever you bring around you is filling into you, they're pouring into you. You got to make sure that your relationship, the other person in your relationship is pouring into you and making sure that you're straight. So for me, I don't think being selfish is a horrible thing, even in a relationship. It's putting yourself first, but at the same time wanting to give to the other person. So it's a real hard balance. But if you make sure that you're straight and that person is making sure that you're straight, you can be selfish at the same time as giving to that person, because that person is making sure you're straight too. So if you have a reciprocal type of relationship with that person, then you can give to them. But if you're giving to them and they're not giving back to you and filling back up what you're giving to them, then that relationship's unevenly yoked, as the Christians like to say, and y'all need to move on. You need to be doing something else with your life, not with that person. So be selfish, even in relationships and everything. As long as your emotional state is the forefront, you're going to be better for everybody else.
Man, you guys said a mouthful. So I agree with everything you said. So I'm going to add on to it. And I think I'm going to say the earlier you learn this, the better you are. So it's about putting your mask on first. You know, that's what they, you know, when you get on the plane, they tell you the earlier you learn how to put your mask on first, the better. So I think because the question is, none of us question that. It's the why do people struggle so much to be selfish, and they're selfish around the wrong things or at the wrong time, or their selfish becomes a negative thing. So for me, I think the earlier you learn it, I think when you're in your teens and your 20s, and especially when it comes to relationships and things like that, this is a time to learn how to be being selfish positive. Relationships and stuff like that. It's about me right now. It's not about when I have no other dependents. Life should be about me. It's about my time. You know, if I'm dating or whatever, I can't have a girlfriend pulling away from my time. That's going to hurt me. I can't, especially when it comes, I'm all about energy. I have to be selfish with my energy. And the sooner you learn how, that's why I didn't like to keep a lot of drama, because it's just like, I got to that peace bubble. Like Ambrosia said, I learned how to protect. I feel like my peace bubble at a very early age. I tried not to keep up drama. I tried to be, yeah, she's nice, or this is going on, but I can't be a part of that because I have to put my mask on first. So eventually I can help others. When I get to the point where I can come over and put on your mask, then we're good. But man, that energy, time, your finance, I think all that runs the same thing, but you have to learn it. The earlier, the better, because it sounds so easy and it sounds so like, man, that just makes so much sense. But so many people struggle with being, I don't want to say positively selfish, but
no, it's like difficult. It's difficult, man, because and in my answer, I want to make it clear. I gave the answer I gave, but it's not always easy to do that. It's not always easy to be selfish with your time, because the flip side of this, you will feel bad at times if you tell certain people, no, you're not going to do it, or you can't do it. It'll make you feel bad, like, dang, man, should I have, you second guess yourself at times. Should I have gone? Should I have did this? But you got to make peace with your decision and make sure how you're feeling, trumps whatever you do. It's all about that peace, man. But I don't want to make it sound like it's extremely easy to do. It can be difficult sometimes to be selfish with your time, or as Razi mentioned, with your money. Like the example he gave with the person that had $100,000 kept giving to his family. That's how so many athletes go broke. They don't know how to tell their family no. Oh man, I took you to get your first haircut. Oh man, I used to throw the ball to you. You know what I'm saying? And you just wind up, you feel obligated.
But I think because at a certain point they never learn how to be selfish early enough. I think the earlier you learn, the earlier you impart that in your kids, like, hey, there's gonna come a time in your life where it's all about you, and that's not a bad thing.
But it's because the word selfish has such a negation behind it, right? And that's the thing. It's like you always teach your kids to share, don't be selfish. Like and there's never a point where you start teaching the nuance of it. It's never a point that you stop saying, "Hey, share with everybody," or you got to be nice to everybody, and start swinging it to, "All right, yeah, you got to be selfish." Like you said, you got to protect your time. You got to protect yourself first. Put yourself first, and then worry about everybody else, which is selfish. It really is, but it's not a negative selfishness. I think teaching moderation and teaching them that you have to be selfish to a point. Like you can't ever give back time. You can't ever give back money. You can't, it's not one of those things where you just say never help, but it's you help when you have the excess to help. Even if you earmark it, like you might not have a whole lot of excess because your spending expands for your income, right? So you're always going to spend more as more you make. But that's why you earmark it and say 10% of my money. The church was right about the whole tithes thing or whatever. If you don't want to give it to the church, give it to another charity. But that whole earmarking 10% to say I'm going to do something for other people with this part of my money, that lets you make sure that it's there. No matter how much money you make $10,000, you can get $1,000 away because you're already earmarking it out. It's gone in your mind before you start spending the rest of your money. So it's finding the balance.
But I don't want to give 10. I want to give 5. Am I being selfish? Is that bad? Like
you are being selfish, and I mean it's up to you. It's how you make yourself feel. If as long as you still feel positive about it, then oh well. That's my whole thing is if you feel good at the end of the day, like you're comfortable with how much you gave back, how much time you put back. Because for me, 5% in cash might be good, but I might give 20% of my time. You know what I mean? If I'm only giving 5% of my time and my energy to the community, I feel like I'm not doing enough. So, I'm expanding there. So it just really depends. And truthfully, me giving 10% of my time is probably worth more than 10% of my, my income when it comes.
Well, you make a lot of money, so
I don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, you do.
I'm third on the group. Keep telling y'all that.
So we're not gonna have this conversation. But I mean, I agree with you guys. So it's just I urge our people to go out there and learn how to be selfish the right way. And then at the end of the day, it's up to the people that you're involved with, that you interact with, to see how they want to deal with it, because they might have to be selfish and potentially cut you out their life. Like, because me taking care of me doesn't give you what you need. Maybe it's time for you to be selfish and say, you know what? I need somebody that's going to give me more. And you have the right to do that. Don't try to fault that other person. Don't try to make them feel bad. Just know what you know. Be selfish about yourself. And I think it all works out. So let's go ahead and do these parting shots, fellas.
I'll jump in first, man. Folks, reach out to especially Afghan vets that and make sure they're straight. A lot of them are hurting right now. Let them know that what you did matter. Whether, in the grand scheme, what America didn't matter. What you did matter. When you got over there, you did your job. You kept other soldiers safe. You helped the country. You did what you could for that country, regardless of the end state of this thing. So reach out to them, because I've seen some posts and even had some soldiers that were like, what did we do? Especially the ones that have a lot of survivor's guilt and everything like that. They're already feeling bad because they got to come home and their friends didn't. And now they're looking at, my friend died for nothing, is how they're feeling right now. And so reach out to them, tell them, that they didn't die for anything. They died so that you could come home safe. They died so that, others could come home safe. They made that ultimate sacrifice for their brothers in arms, not necessarily for the mission or whatever. So just remember that, and let them know that you love them, man. And anybody that's listening, worst case scenario, I love you.
Well said, Razi. I'll be brief.
You know, for me, I love you. That's big.
That's tough for him. Yeah, that's real tough. I just got 2 movies I want to tell the people about that I enjoy. I See You, which is on Amazon Prime. It was one of those movies to where I usually sit back and watch a movie and be like, oh, I know what's about to happen. This is about to happen. After about the 3rd time of saying that and being wrong, I just shut the hell up and just enjoyed the movie because it had some really good twists and it turned out to be a good movie. Also, I believe this is new on Netflix, Sweet Girl with Jason Momoa. That was a pretty good movie too. It had a twist that it's not all that surprising, but the way they did it, it was pretty cool. And when you see it, it will remind you of another movie as far as the twist goes. But I don't want to. If I mention that movie, then you'll already know what the whole movie is about. There's 2 good movies for you to check out. I
appreciate that. See how you did that, Razi, without spoiling the movie?
Mm-hmm.
That take note. So by now, I think most kids are going back to school starting next week if they haven't already started. And I just want everybody to. I'm praying for your kids' safety, your safety, mental peace bubble, because this is going to be a really tough year. I hate bringing up the pandemic every episode, but these are trying times. People, listen to your healthcare professionals, do what you can to protect your family. And that's real big. And last but not least, the bright spot, one of the brightest spots of my week was I watched Disney What If, and the 2nd episode where they had Prince T'Challa, played by Chadwick Boseman, and it warmed my heart to hear him and to know that they planned this out a while back, and the way they portrayed his character just showed the admiration and respect they had for him as a person, his character, the Black Panther. I mean, this dude was pretty much Black Superman, could do no wrong. And I really appreciated that. So if you haven't watched it, go, it's not Black Panther, it's not that, but it was just good to hear him one last time and one of his last roles. So check it out on Disney Plus. What If, the 2nd episode with Prince T'Challa. And that's it. Anything else, fellas, before we get out? 3 Brothers No Sense. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Did I do it right this time?
You messed up.
Yeah, man.
I'm keeping that in.
Yeah. Check out that new YouTube channel.
Do it.